Imagine a single cold pause from a judge shattering a young man's swagger louder than any gavel. Providence Municipal Court breathes in low mechanical murmurs. Air conditioner, paper jackets, the soft shuffle of people who've seen their share of mornings. Polished wood smells faintly of lemon oil. A pen cap clicks, clicks again. To the mic steps Lucas Drake, 22, college sweatshirt crisp, limited release sneakers unscuffed, a phone perched in his palm like a second pulse. Son of Drake Motors, the kind of last name that opens doors without knocking. On the docket, it reads small, failure to fully stop at a four-way and use of a handheld device. Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, 7:58 a.m. The intersection by Hope High School. Lucas keeps his gaze an inch above everyone's head, knee jittering, the phone tapping a restless beat against the bench. "It's trivial," he says, voice too loud for the room. "I was creeping. I didn't hit anyone." The gallery murmurs, the way older voices do when they've paid taxes and buried friends and have little patience for trivial near a school. Judge Caprio lifts his eyes, calm, human, and edged with steel. He doesn't answer. He lets silence do the arithmetic. The pen cap clicks once more, then stills. "Mr. Drake," he says finally, tone even. "Facts first. 7:58. What happened?" "I was late for a midterm," Lucas answers, no apology in it. "I had to get across town." In the second row, someone suppresses a cough. A bailiff shifts. The officer who wrote the citation opens a thin folder, waits for a nod. "Read it," Caprio says. The officer does, steady as a metronome. Crossing guard holding a raised stop. Two freshmen waiting at the curb. Black coupe rolls past the line, straddles the first stripe. Driver's right hand on a smartphone. Lucas swallows. His foot keeps time under the table. He slides the phone face down, then flips it back, thumb tapping the lock screen, a habit that doesn't know it's on trial, too. Caprio turns a page. "Dealer plate," he notes. "Temporary." The officer. "Expired September 30th, Your Honor." Lucas huffs, small and indignant. "The paperwork's in process." "Was it in process at 7:58? The judge asks. No answer, just the faint clack of the phone nudging varnish. From the speakers, a clipped body cam clip rolls. Lucas's own voice, tinny and sure. "Call our lawyer. He'll take care of this." A low, collective drifts from the benches. Recognition, without relish. Caprio doesn't flinch. He lets the audio end and the hum of the air return. "School zones are not suggestions," he says. "Full stops are not decorations. Temporary tags are not grace periods you assign yourself." Lucas straightens, chin lift rehearsed from 100 dealership ribbon cuttings. "With respect, I didn't endanger." Caprio's hand rises a fraction. The interruption is gentle, the boundary firm. "Endangerment isn't measured by your intent," he says. "It's measured by the people forced to trust you." A beat. Then another. Somewhere in back, a program flutter stops in a lap. "What I'm hearing," Caprio continues, "is a man in a hurry near children who had the right of way, with a phone stealing his eyes. You call it small. In this room, that's large." Lucas looks down for the first time. The phone stops tapping. The knee slows. You can almost hear the thought. This is not a service counter, and he is not a preferred customer. The judge softens nothing, but his voice loses the edge. He makes space. "We can talk tickets," he says, "or we can talk about why you treat red octagons like yellow lights." Another click as the pen cap comes off, then rests. Caprio leans back, shoulders loose, presence unarguable. He studies the young man who arrived certain the world would step aside. "Tell me about yourself, Mr. Drake." he says at last, without polish. The pause that follows isn't empty. It's a room asking him to breathe slower before he speaks. Lucas sits a notch straighter, as if posture could tidy facts. My father runs Drake Motors, he begins. I help when I can. I'm studying business administration. That morning I had a midterm. I was anxious, but I wasn't putting anyone at risk. His fingers stray to the phone anyway, sliding across glass as if it were a worry stone. The gesture betrays him more than any sentence. Caprio watches the movement, not the words. In our house, Lucas adds, we handle things. We have counsel. We support schools. Problems get managed. Managed. The word lands with a dull weight. People on the benches, parents, retirees, a few city workers, know the type. Numbers to call, favors to trade, checks written before lunch. The air turns a degree cooler. What does support look like? Caprio asks, voice clean as a scalpel. Donations, equipment. My mother runs our foundation. We've funded arts, uniforms, new scoreboards. A few heads tilt at scoreboards. Someone in back exhales through their nose. Volunteer hours? The judge says, still mild. Lucas blinks. I'm busy with classes and the dealerships. I intend to do more. The clerk clears her throat. Your Honor, she says, the defendant has provided a receipt as evidence of his timeline. She holds up a thin paper strip. Campus Cafe, 7:49 a.m., large latte. Caprio slides a laminated street map closer. Providence looks neat and flat under fluorescent light, but anyone who's driven it knows the morning choke points. He traces with a pen, Cafe to Hope High. At a conservative pace, 12 minutes, he says. Longer with lights. You claim you reached the intersection at 7:58. Lucas hesitates. His confident pitch thins on the numbers. Traffic opened up. Miraculously, Caprio replies, letting the pause widen. He turns to the clerk. Note the discrepancy. The officer flips a page. Your prior contact, Mr. Drake, he says, 1 month ago, standing in the fire lane by the same school. You told the campus officer it was 1 minute to drop books for your sister. You were warned and moved. The word fire lane draws a faint tisk from the gallery. The school's resource officer, seated near the aisle, folds his arms with the patience of a man who's waved too many cars along. We do a lot for that school, Lucas says, grasping the oldest handhold in town. My father paid for the new gym scoreboard. Caprio doesn't argue. He doesn't have to. He lets the sentence sit next to the fire lane. The contrast teaches. Description creeps in through small sounds. The hum of the HVAC. The faint squeak of a shoe when someone resettles their weight. The scratch of the judge's pen finding a margin. Lucas's speech, steady at first, now stutters on specifics. Dates, minutes, distances. He tries to outrun the arithmetic and discovers arithmetic has long legs. What made you late? Caprio asks. I stopped for coffee so I wouldn't crash on the exam, Lucas answers, quick, then immediately senses the trap he built. If alertness mattered, why was his attention on a screen at the crosswalk? The judge nods once, as if to say, the story is telling itself. In the second row, a PTA mother, hair pinned tight, schedule tighter, glances toward the door like she can see the intersection from here. Local pride is not abstract. It's a block with names carved in brick, a pep rally on a Thursday, a crossing guard everyone knows by first name. Caprio leans back. His questions shorten. The pauses lengthen. In those quiet inches, Lucas adds more than he means to. We've always moved fast, he says. You have to. In our business, time is money. In school zones, the judge replies, time is children. Silence again. Not empty, pressurized. Lucas's knee stops bouncing. The phone goes face down and stays there. Caprio turns to the officer. Let's examine what the report can't show. The seconds between claims. He nods toward the clerk. The room dims as the projector warms, a soft ventilator whir. The screen washes the wall in cold light. Put up the timeline, the judge says. Let the morning speak. The lights dim, the projector exhales. On the wall, morning turns into numbers. A timestamp freezes, 7:58:06. The school camera shows a raised stop paddle, two ninth graders leaning into their first step off the curb. The fluorescent vest glows like a small sun. Click. 7:58:10. A black coupe noses past the line, front wheels already kissing the first white bar. The chassis throws a shadow across the zebra. No drama, just geometry. Caprio doesn't narrate. He lets seconds testify. Phone records, the clerk says, bringing up a stereo log. 7:57, incoming call, PR, Mark. 7:58, voice memo sent. Running late, stuck at Kids Crossing. The words look worse on a screen, tidy and detached. Tags? The judge asks. Temporary dealer plate expired September 30th, the officer answers. Application for permanent registration filed October 15th, the day after. Lucas shifts, jaw working. Paperwork backed up. Everyone knows the DMV. Everyone knows a calendar, Caprio says, flat. A new slide, body cam audio hisses, then settles. Engine off, sir. Give me a minute. I've got an exam. People are more important than minutes. The room stays very still. No one claps. They just listen. From the side bench, a man in a bus driver's jacket lifts a hand, eyes to the judge. Your Honor, I was behind him. Route 8. I run that corner every weekday. His voice has no theater in it, which is why it lands. I flashed my brights. He didn't look up. I could see the screen glow on his face. The crossing guard stepped back. Fast. I haven't seen her do that in years. Lucas stares at the table edge. He spins the plastic cap off his water bottle. On, off. The clerk raises a page. Letter submitted regarding an urgent test accommodation, purportedly from the clinic. She lays it under the document camera. The wrong logo smears across the screen. This letterhead was retired last year. The phone number doesn't connect. Caprio studies it without comment. He slides it aside like a card from a stacked deck. Another still appears. A dealership ad photo of the black coupe. Pristine bumper, no marks. Beside it, a screenshot from a cafe's exterior camera at 8:27 shows a fresh scratch at 8 inches off the ground, where a steel edge might meet paint. The officer doesn't say, "Stop sign." He doesn't have to. Lucas can't stand the quiet. So, I'm a villain now? It was a crosswalk and I was late, not drunk, not... Do you remember her face? Caprio asks, calm as a level. Her vest. A woman. He falters. I watched the light. She doesn't hold a light, Caprio says. She holds children's chance to cross. There's a difference. A few heads in the back nod. The kind of nods that come from years of small rituals. Waiting at corners, waving to the same yellow vest when it snows. Click. The timeline returns. 7:57:8. In a thin ribbon. The judge draws a straight pen line through Lucas's claims, not to accuse, but to align. You left the cafe at 7:49. The map gives you 12 minutes with cooperative traffic. You arrive at 7:58 on your account. Meanwhile, you're on a call at 7:57 and dictating at 7:58. That's a lot of activity for eyes that should have been still. Lucas's hand goes flat over the phone as if covering it could erase the glow of data behind glass. His confidence has nowhere to sit. Caprio folds his hands. This isn't about whether you meant harm. It's whether people in a crosswalk mattered more than your schedule. In the aisle, The school resource officer relaxes his folded arms by an inch. The smallest concession to the feeling that truth has finally caught up. The judge glances to the door. "We're missing one voice," he says, not for effect, but because it is the next right step. The hinges answer. The courtroom door swings open. A woman in a yellow vest enters, gray hair pinned neat, right hand gripping a handheld stop sign with a tooth missing from its edge. She walks like someone used to morning sidewalks and winter boots. Caprio inclines his head toward the witness mic. He doesn't add a speech. He doesn't need to. The room tightens, and the point of no return arrives on two sensible shoes. She lays the handheld stop on the evidence table. The rim has a bite taken out of it, a pale crescent of torn plastic. When it rests against the wood, the damaged edge sings a thin, glassy note. "My name is Ellen Pierce," she says into the mic. "I've walked that corner 20 years. October 14th, 7:58 a.m., I had the paddle up. Two ninth graders were towing the paint. The black coupe rolled over the line. I stepped back." She taps the fracture with a knuckle. "This cracked when I jerked it away from his bumper." No embroidery, only weathered fact. You can hear the room lean in. She squints at Lucas. "You came through that intersection as a kid, Mr. Drake. 6th grade. Your father brought a catalog for new buses." A soft ripple in the gallery. Somebody remembers the photo in the newsletter. "You asked if you could hold my sign. I let you. You said it felt like being a hero." She rests a palm on the paddle. "It's not hero work. It's standing still so others can move." Lucas's breath comes a shade quicker. He reaches for the bottle cap and misses it, fingers closing on air. "My knees are bad," Ellen adds, a matter-of-fact aside. "Arthritis. Cold mornings are slow. I still get there by 7:20. Because when the light says walk, I am the wall." From 3 rows back, someone murmurs, "God bless her," not loudly, just as a habit. Lucas's composure snaps in a clean, brittle way. "I didn't hit you. You're fine." He hears it as it leaves him, too sharp. "I mean, you're unharmed. This is getting blown up." The bailiff takes a half step. Caprio doesn't raise a hand, only turns his head. Order returns like a tide that decided to be generous. Ellen doesn't bristle. She looks at Lucas with the tired kindness of a librarian telling a child to lower his voice. "I'm alive," she says. "That isn't the metric. The measure is whether a driver notices children before the calendar." Caprio's tone stays level. "Miss Pierce, do we have an image?" She nods, produces a print. Under the document camera, the picture blooms. Timestamp 7:58:10. Bumper's lip hanging over the first white bar like a shoe on a threshold. The stop paddle edge, already nicked, is a blur caught mid-yank. A hush follows that isn't silence so much as consent. The court, a room of lifelong crossers and drivers, recognizes what it sees. Lucas tries a smaller voice. "I watched the signal," he says. "I didn't see everything." "That's the trouble," Ellen answers. "Signals don't walk. Children do." The judge lets the line land. He doesn't gild it. He turns pages slowly, the way you do when you want the weight of paper to be felt. Details whisper around the scene. A winter coat sleeve squeaks against vinyl. The projector fan keeps its soft, surgical hum. Somewhere a program slips to the floor and isn't retrieved. The long benches, knees, canes, tote bags, hold their breath. Caprio looks to Ellen. "Thank you," he says simply. She gathers the paddle, then pauses, tapping the cracked edge once more so the sound carries. It's not reproach. It's a bell for attention. She steps back from the mic. The judge addresses the clerk. "Chain the minutes," he says. "Start at 7:49 with the cafe receipt." Lay in the school camera, body cam, phone log, DMV expiration. Put the supposed clinic note beside the current letterhead. He nods at the officer. Overlay vehicle images. The screen brightens, washing faces in cold light. Rows of timestamps line up like stitches. Lucas's shoulders come forward, as if to make himself smaller against the wall of time. Caprio doesn't glance at him yet. He speaks to the room. "We aren't buying a story," he says, quiet. "We're building the morning." Ellen slips toward the back, yellow vest catching the fluorescence, every step the pace of someone who knows the value of waiting. Lucas watches her pass, like a witness watches a metronome, aware, suddenly, that rhythm is law. "Proceed," the judge says. The projector clicks to the first frame. The hum deepens. Evidence begins to sort itself into a single, unarguable path. The screen becomes a ledger of seconds. 7:57, 8 unspools in thin, merciless lines. First frame, 7:58:06. School camera, stop paddle high, 2 kids tipping forward off the curb. Next, 7:58:10. The coupe's front wheels trespass the paint. The chassis shadows the first bar of the crosswalk. No screech, no drama, just mass where feet should be. Caprio's voice is minimal. "Body cam." Speakers hiss, clear. "Engine off, sir." "Give me a minute. I've got an exam." People are more important than minutes. No one moves. The projector fan plays its steady, surgical note. "DMV," the clerk says. "Temporary dealer tag expired 09/30. Application for permanent plate submitted 10:15. Day after the stop." A small ripple of breath from the gallery. Recognition, not outrage. "Receipt," Caprio prompts. She slides it beneath the camera. "Campus Cafe, 7:49 a.m. A second overlay appears. Map distance. Conservative drive, 11 to 13 minutes with lights. Caprio draws a pen along the route. "Your claim is arrival at 7:58, he says, not looking away from the map. "That's a perfect morning. This city doesn't do perfect." The officer taps another tab. "PTA mass email, 9:21 a.m. Thank you for continued support. Requesting replacement of damaged crossing equipment." The wording reads like a cushion placed over a bruise. Then the addendum. A printed thread, time-stamped 8:32 a.m. PR to father. Recommend 5 Kaler to pedestrian safety fund to calm chatter. A low, knowing murmur passes through the benches. The sound is older than this case. "Vehicle images," Caprio says. Side by side, the dealership's archive photo, clean bumper. Then a cafe exterior camera at 8:27. A fresh, bright scuff, 8 inches off the ground, exactly where a metal edge would kiss paint. The judge doesn't say, "Stop sign." He lets the room finish the sentence. From the aisle, the bus driver repeats, steady, unperformed. I flashed brights. He didn't look up. Screen lit his face. The guard stepped back. Lucas tries a narrower defense. I was checking navigation, rerouting around a jam. Navigation is a tool, Caprio answers, level. At a crosswalk, people are the priority. Tools wait, people don't. Paper breathes. A program slides to the floor and stays there. The HVAC hum lays a cool sheet over everything. Phone log, the clerk adds. 7:57 incoming from PR, Mark. 7:58 outgoing voice memo. Running late, stuck at Kids Crossing. Clean font, cold comfort. Lucas's shoulders round. His hand flattens over the phone like a lid on boiling water. Caprio closes one folder, opens none. We have a pattern, he says. Hurry on top of habit. Habit on top of privilege. A triangle sturdy enough to hurt someone. He draws the morning to scale, sentence by sentence. You bought coffee to be alert. You then moved your attention to a screen at the only corner where attention is non-negotiable. You relied on a donor sticker to soften the edges. You offered money before you offered your eyes. Nothing in the room cheers. It just settles, like dust deciding where to land. The judge caps his pen with a soft click. Final note of a rehearsal that's over. He gathers the exhibits into a neat stack, not to bury them, but to mark the end of collecting. "We're not purchasing a conclusion," he says quietly. "We've built one." He looks directly at Lucas. The projector's glow fades. Fluorescents return with their unromantic honesty. The gallery exhales in one slow tide. "The court has what it needs," Caprio says. "We move to resolution." The clerk reaches for the docket. The officer closes his folder. In the back, Ellen Pierce rests the cracked paddle across her knees like a baton she's ready to pass, if the runner proves he can hold it without looking away. "Mr. Drake," the judge says, hands folding, voice neither hard nor soft. "Here is what happens next." Caprio lets the quiet hold a heartbeat longer. Then, "A simple fine would be the easy road. We'll take the steeper one. Change." He reads the terms without ceremony, like posting a schedule on a door. Statutory fines for failure to stop in a school zone, handheld device in motion, and operating with an expired temporary tag, plus court costs. Restitution. You, personally, not your company, will reimburse the school for the broken paddle and fresh gear for all crossing volunteers. Company donations don't count as compensation. Lucas nods, small, as if each sentence finds its mark on his collarbone. "Community work," Caprio continues. 50 hours, mornings only. You will report to the crossing program 3 days a week, 7:20 to 8:10. You'll stand where Ms. Pierce stands, under supervision, and learn the rhythm you ignored. A rustle moves through the benches, approval without glee. "Education," the judge adds. "Complete a defensive driving course and pedestrian ADA awareness within 30 days. File certificates with the clerk. 6 months probation. Any infraction in a school, medical, or senior zone triggers automatic maximum penalties. No reductions." A pen scratches in the clerk's hand. The room's temperature seems to settle 2 degrees. "Last," Caprio says, "Thursday, 7:30 a.m. You'll apologize to Ms. Pierce and the parents on PTA time. No PR cameras, just the people you inconvenienced." Lucas swallows. "I could fund a new signal system," he offers, searching for leverage he no longer trusts. "Full upgrade, sightlines, timers." "Money is the quickest tool," Caprio replies. "Eyes are the better one. The children need a driver who looks at them, not a plaque with your surname. You'll take the post with Ms. Pierce." Ellen rises from the back row. From her bag she produces a narrow reflective armband, the kind that catches light even on a gray morning. She lays it on the table in front of him. The soft tap echoes more than it should. "Wear this," she says, not as shame, as reminder, people work this corner. A few quiet sniffles answer her. No applause, just breath. A figure stands in the last row, a man in a dark suit who's kept still all morning. The resemblance is undeniable in the jaw and the tension. "Your Honor," he says, clearing his throat, "if permitted, I'll take the first morning with my son." Lucas flinches, then looks back, startled by the offer. Caprio studies the father, then nods once. "Good. Let him see you stop." Lucas faces Ellen. "I looked at my schedule," he says, voice low, stripped of angles. "I didn't look at you. I'm sorry." Ellen gives the smallest nod, the kind of absolution that doesn't erase, only acknowledges. Caprio gathers the papers into a square stack. "Justice isn't a check," he says. "It's the pause you give a stranger. Today, you learn to stop. Keep learning." One measured rap of the gavel. The sound rings, then thins. People rise, coats sighing, canes touching wood. The cracked paddle rests across Ellen's knees like a baton waiting its next runner. Lucas lifts the armband, fastening it clumsily, as if it were heavier than fabric. He turns to his father. The older man adjusts his cuff, then places a hand on his son's shoulder. A simple, unscripted wait. At the door, the bailiff holds the handle. Lucas stops on his own and looks back. Thursday, 7:30, he says, more to himself than anyone. I'll be there. The hinges whisper. The courtroom spills into the hallway, where fluorescent light gives way to October glare. Outside, a bus exhales at a curb somewhere near Hope High. A vest will catch the morning, a paddle will rise, and a young man will stand beside it, learning the oldest lesson in traffic and in life. Yield to lives already in motion.